There's a storm across the valley. The clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
Welcome to Community Forum. My name is Priscilla Almquist Olson, your host. Today is April 5th, 2022. Welcome to Community Forum, Nancy DeLuca. Nancy is running for the Easton School Committee. Perhaps you've seen her presentation with Jason Daniels. But today we're going to talk a little bit about the past as well as the present and the future. So welcome, Nancy.
Thank you for having me, Priscilla.
You're welcome. So tell me, how many years have you served?
I've been on the school committee for 6 years, and now I'm running for a third term, which will, if voted in, will give me 9 years on the school committee. Yes.
Terrific.
Yeah.
So you come loaded with experience.
Well, I was a teacher for 36 years in the Easton Public Schools, and during that time I was union president, so I think I have a leadership role that I can use as background. And also growing up in Easton, being part of the Easton Public Schools, the next step for me was the school committee, and I've enjoyed my 6 years on this committee.
Great. Well, my goodness, that describes a lot of experience. And I know about your teaching because when I returned home from, I was practicing law in New York, and I came home to the house I grew up on Seaver Street. I did some substitute teaching, and I did some subbing in your class, as I recall. And your students were very, very good.
Thank
so you must have had a good sense of discipline.
Well, sometimes.
And your experience as being head of the union, that must help facilitate and give you some integrity with the members of the union when you're negotiating a contract.
I still have a lot of friends in the Easton Public Schools. I did take a walk through one day and realized I didn't know as many people as I thought I did. I've been retired for 8 years, and the scene is changing. And as we know, in the schools with the pandemic and everything, so many things have changed. The way the kids come to school, now we don't have masks, but that was a year of, just trying to get the kids back to normal as we could.
Mm. So tell me about some of the innovations that you enjoyed or that you utilized in order to make the pandemic not such a burden on the students.
Well, the first part, when the superintendent and the governor said, okay, schools will be shut down March 17th, I believe that was the date of 2020. And then everybody was home working on their computers remotely. That summer, the summer of 2020, there were at least 11 committees, and school committee members were part of them, faculty, custodians, nurses, administration, cafeteria people, lunch and playground aides. And we all worked together. There were all the different committees, and I wasn't on 11 of them, that's for sure. I think it was on 3 of them. But the ideas and the just like the technology person, Mr. Souza, things that he came up with that we embraced going into September of 2020. It was difficult, but yet it was energizing too, because there was a way through the path of COVID-19 and just trying to get the best that we could for our students. So not only just PPE things, and every student got a Chromebook thanks to a federal grant, and every student to this day has a Chromebook that they will keep with them, I assume, till they graduate, and then return it for somebody else, I guess. But just some of the programs and things that came from working from home and being a hybrid learner, and then coming back into school and staying 6 feet apart. And a lot of the parents weren't very happy with us at some times, but I think we did, looking back, I think what we did was best at the time.
Sure, and what a difficult endeavor that was, but how creative to include not only the teachers, but the custodians, probably the cafeteria workers, everybody who would have a part, and getting all their ideas.
Yes,
So.
it was a great idea to have everybody participate, because everybody has a stake in the Easton Public Schools, no matter what the role is. Paraprofessionals were all over. They were in every single committee, and those paraprofessionals are the best. They work so hard, and their students love them. And you know, everybody's got a favorite person in the school, and it might not be your teacher. It might be the custodian or the lunch lady. So it's good. It's a village.
Right, and it takes a village to educate a child.
It sure does.
Yeah. So what do you think was your, in the past 6 years, your greatest accomplishment?
When I was telling Jason in our interview that 6 years ago when I ran for the first time, at that point we were still on the waiting list with the School Building Association in Boston. And that was a big thing, was to get a new school for our elementary kids, because Center School, Parkview School, and Morrow Hall School are just warm and loving places. But as you go walk through the buildings, you could see all of the places that needed improvement. Specialists were working in closets, and kids were in the middle of a hallway doing something. So this is wonderful to have the Blanche Ames Elementary School being built. And that was 6 years ago, and then I think it was a year or two after that the townspeople of Easton just came through and voted to have us have this brand new school. So now we'll have a lovely complex of all 3,500 students on the same property, basically.
Yesterday I interviewed Dottie Fulginetti and Mark Lamb, and both of them are running for re-election on the select board. And Dottie talked about the building and how impressed she was with all the creative ideas, having a wall of glass so that children can see into, the furnace room. I mean, so they can see the inner workings of the building, as well as, of course, the technological updates that are required in today's educational experience. So, what are you looking forward to? I know that you work very well with the other members. There's a great deal of consensus building, and people are polite to each other, and yet they respect the policy differences when they come up.
Right. 4 beautiful schools, housing 3,500 kids. A big move for social and emotional learning. Very important now in this day and age. As we see what's going on in the world,
Right.
that these kids are being shell-shocked with, the news that's out there. Not that there hasn't been war before, because there has, but this seems to hit closer to home for some reason. And just going through this pandemic, I feel for all these students. You think about the last 2 years, you go to school, you're supposed to be in a happy place, that you're learning and you're with your friends, and you don't enjoy everything about it because it's still homework, but it's just been such a bad time.
Roller
for
coaster.
everybody.
The roller coaster, in some
It
ways.
really has.
Yeah.
It really has.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for sharing your views. And is there anything else you want to say about why you think it's important that you are kept on the committee?
I would like to be on the committee. I think I am a good listener. I work well under pressure. I enjoy cooperating with other people and working collaboratively with them. And I believe our relationship with the superintendent and with faculty, parents, guardians, citizens of Easton, I think we have that ability to reach everybody.
Yes, and I think the school committee is the most challenging position in the town.
Right now it is.
Because every parent seems to know what's best for his or her child.
And they do. I don't want to interrupt you, Priscilla, but parents do know what's best for their children to an extent. And, should a child go to this class or take that class? But I think overall, the educators, the administration in Easton needs to provide what is best for the children.
I guess my point is that you have to handle so many of people's issues and complaints and compliments, and you're always dealing with the public, whereas the select board doesn't get that many inquiries or complaints.
Well, it depends on the season, but yes.
Yes, because your constituents are parents who are very concerned. And all Easton residents aren't concerned about every issue that comes before the select board. But I think most parents in Easton are concerned about the educational objectives. And so I really, hats off to you. And keeping your cool, you have a personality. It seems that you can handle things, and things just, like water off a duck's, whatever it is. And thank you so much for being on Community Forum today.
Thank you very much, Priscilla. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All the best. And that is our show for today, April 5th, 2022. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Until next time, be well.